Now we got 1 minute, so I guess we'll wait. Don't know if anybody's going to show up, but who knows? I'll jump on the old face cloth here now and see. Oh, thanks YouTube. Apparently I'm now live. Oh, we got one person walked in. If you can hear me, say something in the chat. We're going to get started in about a minute. And yeah. Just bear with me here while I get set up. I got one like, so that's good. It's always nice to have a like. Feel free to... Oh, jeez. My phone is going nuts. Where's my Mevo app? There it is. That light is really bright behind me. Let me go see if I can fix that. Makes it look like I have a halo. My head is already shiny enough. There we go. See if that's any better. Oh, that's a bit better. Alright. And we'll angle the camera down a bit. Thanks, Shopcat. Appreciate that. Always nice to have the community support you. Apparently my watch has lost its GPS signal. I'm in the basement of my house, so I highly doubt there's a GPS signal down here. But anyway, I digress. So guys, yeah, a little bit different today, or this evening I should say. I guess I'll give you some updates on some of the projects, as well as drinking some of this delicious whiskey, and unbox this retro Atari 520 ST. A lot of you may not know that I'm into retro technology, obviously cars, because this is a car channel, but thought I'd do something a little bit different for Christmas, and yeah, just shoot the shit while we unbox this Atari that I got for Christmas. And yeah, put it together and see if it works. Anyway, it is now 8:02, and I think that's about time to break into this lovely Proper 12 triple distilled Irish whiskey. I got this as a gift, and I'm looking forward to opening it. My wonderful partner got me this amazing, I'll show it to you guys here, this amazing Volkswagen split window bus frosted whiskey glass for Christmas, so. Shopcat, I will have one for you. Anyway, right there, let that breathe a little bit. And yeah, so I like to keep all my whiskeys in the freezer. I find they taste better without putting ice in them, but that's just a personal preference. Anyway, cheers. Hope you all had a fantastic Christmas. We're in that weird time now between Christmas and New Year's, where time doesn't really make sense and everything's just a blur. I think it's the 28th today. Yeah, it is the 28th today. I don't have to worry about anything until tomorrow. So anyway, this is for you guys. Thank you for a fantastic 2021. I know the world has been a crazy, crazy place, and a lot of things have changed. But you know, we've grown the channel fairly good. I'm quite happy with it. We have about just shy of 600 subscribers. You know, I never envisioned we'd have 600-ish people really interested in what we're doing in our garage, but here we are. There's been some changes this year, some shake-ups, which we'll talk about. Nothing, you know, scandalous or anything. I've definitely lost a bit more hair. I've definitely grown a bit more around in the midsection. hopefully we can get rid of that COVID-20 and get back to pre-COVID weight, which would be great. But anyway, this guy's to you guys, so thank you again for a fantastic 2021. Anyway, hope Santa was good to y'all. He was great to me. My wonderful partner also got me this amazing split window. I think it's a weekender. It's not a pop-top camper. Might be a delivery van. Not sure. Anyway, I like it. It's actually part of a set of things she got me for the 73 Westphalia that we're currently putting a face back on. Refer to him as Bullwinkle, or Bullwrinkle, I should say. He's the bus that hit a moose a few years ago, and anyway, through the jigs and the reels, I was able to get it off a friend of mine, Dave Hill. So shout out to Dave for allowing me to buy that. It's been fantastic. Very, very happy to have Bullwinkle, or Bullwrinkle, I should say. Looking forward to getting to work on him now over the next couple of months as we deal with terrible snow. So, there we go. Perfect. Alright, so it's 8:05 now. So I guess we'll dig into this Atari. So, the Atari ST. What is an Atari ST? Let me think. 1985, 1984, Atari, made the video game console, Atari 2600. They had a line of 8-bit computers. Now, 8-bit computers are like what you would consider like a Commodore 64, or a VIC-20, or even an Apple II. I think you consider an 8-bit, yeah, because it runs BASIC. So yeah, basically they were just the early desktop computers that people bought. ZX Spectrum was one from across the pond. Anyway, so then around the 85, 84, 85, they moved from the 8-bit computers to the 16-bit. And so this is Atari's attempt at a 16-bit computer. So for any of you who've actually ever had a Commodore 64, I'm sure there's some of you out there who have, you know that when you booted it, you got to drop right into what's referred to as BASIC. And you had to program your computer to do what you wanted to do, or you ran a game cartridge, because the Commodore and the Ataris also ran game cartridges. So this is, let me see, I think it's got a date on the back of it. 86. So this unit was built in, I don't know the month, but it's definitely 1986, so the year that I was born, so it's 35, almost 36 years old. Just give you guys a look at it so you can see. That's what it looks like, so you have your keyboard built in, and then around the back you have all your peripherals. So you have a modem port, printer port, floppy disk drive, hard drive, or as they call it, a hard disk, the monitor port, 2 MIDI ports, a MIDI in and a MIDI out, television out, you have the power adapter, power switch, and the quick reset. And along the sides you have 2 game ports that'll take a joystick, for example, like this. And then on the other side, I think we have, I think this is their proprietary printer port, or sidecar port. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty new to the Atari lineup. Now the Atari unit itself runs a very, and I'm going to use the term basic, but it's not actually basic, a very rudimentary, there we go, rudimentary operating system called TOS, or the operating system. This guy is currently running TOS 1.4, and it has been upgraded to 2.5 megabytes of RAM. So these things were very, very, very minimal spec-wise back in the day. So, I'm in IT, which, I'm not a mechanic. Sean's a mechanic. I'm the IT guy. So, I've been sort of into retro tech, but I've been really started getting into it recently. During the pandemic, I started watching a lot of YouTube, as I'm sure many of you have. And you're falling down the late night YouTube rabbit hole, and I ended up finding a couple of really, really good YouTubers, like the 8-Bit Guy, or LGR, Lazy Game Review. Clint is quite good. He has a lot of retro tech on his. I'm trying to think who else I watch. Adrian's Digital Basement, and a few other big YouTubers. Anyway, fell down the rabbit hole late one night and realized that, you know, throughout the years I've thrown out a lot of tech that's worth a fair bit of money now. And it got me thinking, I should start collecting, or at least saving some of the tech that I have. So when we're done fiddling with this, I'll take you around and show you some of my collection. I've also found a way for my collection to make a little bit of money, which is cool. Anytime you can take a collection, or something that you love, and make money with it, it's always a great thing. I've got a few comments here in the Shopcat. Apparently he likes the Atari. I think a lot of people like the Atari. They're pretty cool units. But anyway, yeah. So my what I do is, and I've done it for 2 productions now. I'm not going to say which because I'm not sure I'm allowed to say, but I rent out a lot of my collection based on different decades to different production companies. So, for example, we had a TV show that was filmed here this summer, here in Newfoundland, which is supposed to air sometime early January. And it's set in the 80s. More specifically, it's set in a school in the 80s. Cheers. And it required a computer lab. So sorry if you're moving closer to the TV, you can, or the camera, you can see my bald head. Again, I'm not the face of the YouTube channel. I'm in the background. I'm the one filming. You know, I'm like the old guy from the Muppets. I just kind of yell from the balcony usually. So again, I apologize. If you came on here to find Sean, unfortunately, Sean is not going to be here with us this evening. So, yeah, so I rented out my Commodore 64 collection. So I have 4 or 5 Commodore 64s now. Some are in various states of working and not working. But thankfully, the production company only needed sort of them for looks. And I realized pretty quickly that, you know, they're not easy to find. After talking to the prop department and a few other people in the you know, set decoration and that type of stuff, they basically said they're almost impossible to find. And if they do find them, they have to bring them in. They're very expensive, so they'd much rather you know, rent them from me for a day or a week or however long they need them. So that got me thinking. I said, well, what a fantastic way to monetize, I guess, my collection. So I did, and yeah, actually, that's allowed me to add to my collection. So a lot of the money that I made this summer renting out these computers, I sort of reinvested, I guess, and bought more. So this is one of the ones I bought. So this is actually my birthday, or not my birthday, I should say, my Christmas gift to myself. I really, really wanted a Commodore Amiga, but unfortunately, Commodore Amigas are very expensive, and they're not readily available here in where I live in Newfoundland, Newfoundland, Canada. So they're kind of, you come across them every now and then, and when you find them, you got to jump at them, and no matter what shape they're in, you got to jump at them. So I looked to buy one online, and unfortunately, the prices, because I'm guessing COVID, people are getting a bit nostalgic for them. They're kind of at that right age of about 40 years old now, 35, 40 years old, where people have, you know, fond memories of them, and those same people have disposable cash, so they're willing to throw out a fair bit of money to relive their childhood. So I had to put my Amiga desires on hold, and the next best thing for me was an Atari. So I hemmed and hawed over which one to buy. This one actually came up for sale in Quebec, which is just a couple of provinces over, which was great, and definitely saved me on shipping. Not like some of the other computers that I've bought recently, which I had to ship in from the States and other places. We'll talk about those later. But yeah, I was able to pick this up for fairly cheap. The only downside that I was kind of a little upset about, or not upset, but upset at myself, I guess, is that I got the Atari 520 ST. There's also an Atari 520 ST FM, which has the built-in floppy, which kind of is important, and also has more memory. So as you can tell, there is no floppy drive anywhere here. So there's no way to get, data from anywhere onto this right now without either buying an external floppy drive for it, which at current prices is about the same amount of money I spent just on this machine. So, I'm not looking to do that. But I did find a really cool device that runs on an Arduino, a little project computer, and allows me to boot floppy drive images from a little Arduino that plugs into the hard drive port. So I've actually ordered one of them. The guy who makes them is in Spain. So hopefully that'll be here this week or next, and we can actually get this Atari playing some games. So I'm looking at doing a booth at a local science fiction convention, hopefully, to sort of showcase some of the different retro tech that I have. Okay, cool. Sorry guys, I see there's a lot of going on here in the chat. I took my eyes off it. Let's see. So hello to Wood Metal Garage, Shopcat. Hey again. Hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas, and I wish you nothing but the best for 2022. I don't know where the time went between 2019 and 2022, but here we are. Anyway, let's get, one of the really sort of crappy things about the Atari is that they have a proprietary monitor. So, anybody who does tech today knows that most monitors plug in either by VGA, which is a really old standard connector, a DVI connector, or more people are probably familiar with the HDMI connector. Well, unfortunately, Atari has these, I'll try to hold it up there so you can see it's sort of proprietary. It almost looks like an old school keyboard plug. And that goes into the monitor port here on the back. And only Atari monitors work with the Atari monitor port. You can, however, output it to a television through an RCA connector connection, which would work, but I'd like to have a nicer, higher resolution, and you get a better screen with that. So I'm just going to plug in some power here. Now, none of this has been tested, so this literally could explode on, not Facebook Live, YouTube Live. And if it does, oh, sorry guys, making a loud noise. If it does explode, I do apologize. And if I scream and run away, know that it's only because I'm fearful for my life. Old technology has a way of sometimes going pop or boom. So everybody in the comments, what's going on? What did you guys get for Christmas? Was Santa good to you? Did you get what you wanted? Any new projects? Did you get any new projects for Christmas? I got stuff for new projects. I didn't actually get any new projects per se. Atari is nice enough to label everything for you, which is lovely. So I'm just going to turn this monitor slightly so you guys can see it. If it does decide to go boom, yeah, it's good enough, I'd say. I can still see it. Just key. Alright. So I guess we'll go ahead and flick the power switch on the monitor here. Again, if this goes boom, I do apologize, and if I scream in a high-pitched manner, I apologize as well. We'll give power to our Atari, and look at that, we have a picture. Oh, we need a mouse. Atari also has a mouse, and it's once again a proprietary. So, I think that goes over here. And look at that. So, one of the downsides of this monitor, and a shout out to my buddy Matt Walsh, who provided me this monitor. He had picked it up. I don't know where he'd gotten it, but he horse trades retro tech like I do, so your guess is as good as mine. But he was able to get, I'm just trying to adjust I'm not sure what that contrast button does. Nothing, apparently. I think I'm going to need to adjust this on the back. Yes. We got our different sinks are back here. So, do I push in? No, or do I actually need, I think I actually need a screwdriver. I do need a screwdriver. So anyway, yeah, Matt was able to get this, I don't remember how. He told me, through some trade anyway, he needed a Pentium 1, and I happen to have a Pentium 1, and so the rest they say is history. But yeah, you can see this sort of like, kind of looks like, you guys see this? You guys can't really see this, hold on. Come in for a closer look. I apologize already. I'm sure I don't look very good. So, there we go, I'll just set you up here. Ooh, sorry if anybody has motion sickness. You can kind of see it. Not a terrible quality, but I will go with it. Anyway, it's kind of like an early Mac. So you have your different menu options across the top. And then, of course, if I had a floppy drive plugged in, it would show up sort of in this area here. But yeah, it seems to be working. I think I can get some information here. So the GEM Graphical Environment Manager, or for the operating system, or TOS. Copyright Atari. Latest copyright is 1989. Digital Research Inc. Interesting. They must have been involved. Oh yeah, they wrote the GEM Graphical Environment Manager. They made that, I think. But that's pretty cool. Now I should be able to. Bring up some system info, but it doesn't look like I can. Interesting. Anyway. Alright, let's see. What do we got in the comments? So Wood Metal Garage finally got an RTX 3060. Now, I don't know, do you mean a graphics card? Or is that some sort of Polaris unit? Because it could be both. Who knows? Alright, now that I got you guys down here on the level, I can bring you around. So, yeah, get a good idea of what the Atari looks like here. So you can see, it's very yellow. I'm going to have to do what's known as a Retrobrite. For any of you who are not into retro technology. Retrobrite is, you use a hydrogen peroxide solution that's used in hair treatment. And you use that to sort of whiten up the letters and the keyboards and the sort of the body of the unit. You actually put it in a tub and put it outside in the sunlight. So, we're living in Newfoundland, I'll have to do that in about 6 months when we finally see the sun again. It is dark. I mean, it is, what time is it here? It's 8:22 p.m. here, and it's been dark since about 4:15 already. It's crazy dark. But yeah, I mean, it's not Arctic Circle dark, but, here we are. Anyway, guys. Oh yeah, got an NVIDIA. Cool. That's neat. What are you playing? Do you game much? I used to be a big PC gamer, and I mean, like, huge. I used to work for a local IT company, and we did a lot of gaming builds. This would have been probably, I don't know, 2007, 2008, just like 2010. And yeah, I used to be heavily involved in the gaming. I used to build gaming computers, and I find anyway, at the end of the day, it's like anything. I suppose it's like the mechanic's car is always, a shitbox for the most part. Sorry, mechanics that are watching. But I'd go home and after a day of building gaming computers or building, doing corporate IT, I'd go home and the last thing I'd want to do is fuck around with a computer. And then right now it's just giving me thinking about it. But retro tech, I think, is a little bit different. There's something about this. It's because it's not what I'm used to using day to day. So I guess I enjoy it. I don't know. It's different. There's a bit of nostalgic to it. I mean, I grew up with my first computer. It would have been 1988 or 89. It was a 386 running Windows 3.0. I was 2 or 3 at the time. And then growing up, we got a new computer every 4 or 5 years. And, I enjoyed it. But I got really into it when I was in high school. I was a huge geek, huge nerd. At junior high, actually. A good buddy of mine got me into computers. And, I always dabbled, but he was like a huge nerd. And so his nerdiness rubbed off on me, I guess. And anyway, through the jigs and the reels, I became a pretty big geek. But geeks are cool now, so that's okay. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I'll show you some of the other stuff that's going on here in the basement. So yeah, the basement of my house. Okay, wood metal, you're using it for rendering. Gotcha, that makes sense. I have a new. I guess we'll talk real quick. I'm just gonna lay the camera down so I'm not moving around so much. I have a shoot. You guys went for a trip. Sorry about that. I have a new M1 MacBook. Is it MacBook? No, it's iMac or Mac Mini. And man, the rendering times on that M1 are out to lunch fast. So I used to have a Core i7, I think it was. It was a Core i7. Core i7 iMac with 32 gigs of RAM. And it was only like 256 SSD or something. It's still my daily driver, I guess. I still use it fairly regularly. But anyway, the M1 Mac Mini just rendering time, so it's like half the RAM. I think it's only got 16 gigs of RAM. 16 gigs of RAM. And, it's just the base one M1 Mac Mini, but it renders my videos in, it's faster than half time. So it's probably, what would take normally a half hour, I'm doing in like 12, 11, 10 minutes to render. It is absolutely out to lunch. I could not get over how fast those new M1 processors are. So yeah, I'm definitely already looking to spec a new iMac when the M1 comes out. I think it's out already, but I'll give it some time for the price to come down. But yeah, anyway, just gonna top up on some proper 12 here. If I remember correctly, some UFC fighter is involved in this. If I remember the proper 12 information that I got. I'm not a huge UFC guy, obviously, or I'd know who it was. But yeah, apparently this is some sort of UFC fighter project. Actually, does it say in the back? Maybe it does. Nope, it doesn't. Anyway, if you know, let me know in the comments. Anyway, Conor McGregor, yeah, that's him. That's him, yeah, it's his, I'm not sure if he's like just their spokesperson or if he's got a buy-in on it, but it's pretty smooth. And probably one of my favorite, like, daily, I know this makes sound like alcoholic, but, if I have to buy something that I want to drink, at the end of the day, just nice, smooth. I've bought this a few times now, it's been quite good. My usual go-to is some form of Johnny Walker, but yeah, I mean, ultimately I'd love to have 18-year-old scotch all the time, but who's got money for that? Yeah, I should be definitely drinking more Canadian Club, I guess, for, the Canadian content, but, I don't know. The Irish Catholic in me thinks that scotch and whiskey are from the Green Isle are way better, but who am I to say? Anyway, let's have a look around what other stuff I got. So yeah, this is the basement apartment, I guess you want to call it, of my house. So my over the years, I've used it for everything from an apartment. My buddy Dave lived with us for a while. Him and his now wife. Sorry, I'm a terrible mouth breather, and I apologize profusely. Let's just walk around a little bit. Have a little look-see here. See, I got a few things. I rescued this big Jesus CRT monitor. It's actually not that big, but I rescued that from an abandoned building, which I'm going to have I'll talk a little bit about after. This is actually probably my favorite score of the of 2021. I found this is the Tandy 1000 TX, for anybody who remembers the Tandy line of equipment. This popped up on Facebook Marketplace in my area probably a month, 2 months, 2.5, 3 months ago. It was almost new in box. The guy who had found it was demolishing a building, found it in a closet, and yeah, basically I bought it straight up. It's in immaculate shape. I mean, you can see the keyboard is just pristine. Anyway, it's currently running Deskmate, which was Tandy's attempt at a desktop GUI, but I should be able to play this for you, which would be somewhat festive if it will run. You can see the floppy disk is loading there as it tries to load the file off the floppy disk. So now if I go tab here, I should be able to tab to play. Well, there you go. Nice and festive. So this is one of the really big selling points of the Tandy 1000 was that it had fantastic like sound voices, and you can adjust it on the front here. I can turn the volume down if I don't want to listen to it anymore. Anyway, so that's the Tandy. Currently working on this is a joystick that I bought the other day, brand new in box. Suncom actually has a Radio Shack Canada sticker on it, so I think it was sold by Radio Shack Canada. Anyway, that's it there. I'm going to play a little bit of Flight Sim. I got some Microsoft Flight Sim for the Tandy that we're going to play later. But yeah, I've been working on this Pentium 1, I think it is, or Celeron, sorry. It's a Celeron, but it's a Pentium 2 Acer. I'm going to use this as just a DOS gaming laptop. Nothing fancy. What else we got kicking around here? Can't not mention my Apple collection. We got our standard iMac. They call it, it's a lamp. It's a lamp Mac, I guess, because it looks like a lamp. Then I have my very favorite Macintosh portable. So this is the first Macintosh laptop that was created. I got this off a former client. It's in pristine shape. Hoping to get it resurrected one day, but we'll see. Older iMac, Commodore Amiga monitor down there. So I have the monitor, I just need the computer. And then back here we got a few vintage iBooks and G4 MacBook. So yeah, this is where I do a bit of my video editing. Most of it's upstairs. This is my PC. Just a Lenovo ThinkCentre, nothing fancy. But we do have another run of stickers if anybody's interested. Just let me know. Send you guys a few stickers. And here's a So this is an IBM Net Vista that I pulled out of a building. We're calling this the Nest Vista. It was covered, and I got the case and a bunch of the other peripherals out in my garage because the case was covered in pigeon shit. Like caked on years of pigeon shit. So yeah, I rescued this. The building is about to be gutted. So I went in and grabbed this before it got thrown in a dumpster. I know, it's weird. It's like rescuing rusty junk. Be it computer, or be it car. Anyway. I'm back. I also have one of these Auric professional air purifiers. I don't know if they work. I picked this up at an auction recently. Seems to work. Makes the room smell good, which is nice. And then, of course, I have a collection of sort of vintage-ish things up here. A copy of Server 2000, full set of Diablo, because I'm a huge geek. My favorite electronic talking bank, Star Wars Bank. Very important. Anyway, and I got a box of Pentium 2 processors because I can't throw anything out. I think that's everything for retro tech around here. Some more stuff upstairs, and I got a bunch of stuff at the office. It's really cool. I don't know if you guys are into CD radios at all, but I have a pile of these. I have 3 or 4 of them now. These realistic Radio Shack CB radios. The antenna on them is a good 8 feet long. Runs on a shit ton of AA's. Or you can plug it into your 12 volt in your car. Pretty cool. Again, I don't like throwing things out, so it's my old Radio Shack, or not Radio Shack, RCA monitor or TV. Fun little thing I do with this every year is I play Night of the Living Dead on it. I leave it out on my porch on a stand with a pumpkin, and I just put Night of the Living Dead on loop. I don't know, those old zombie movies look the greatest on, kind of fuzzy, warm monitors or TVs. Anyway, I guess I'll put you back down here. So, I guess there's not much else to talk about. I mean, I just kind of wanted to show off my cool Atari. I kind of did that, so. So what's up? What's coming up for my channel? Well, I guess the big thing is what do we got here? I'm gonna send off the stickers as soon as I get my lazy arch going again. Yeah, I hear you, Shopcat. It's Canadian winters are not conducive to doing work. So if you watch Canadian content, definitely give your Canuck buddies a little extra like or a little extra thumbs up, because it's just cold and terrible here. It's funny, Derek from Vice Grip Garage moved from Minnesota to Tennessee, and I can see why. I mean, winter is a little bit easier to digest in Tennessee, I guess. I'm just going to put my computer back here. So, yeah, what's going on with my channel? Well, we have a couple of things coming up, or our channel, I should say. So, a lot of you probably haven't really made an announcement. Well, we kind of did. So, Sean, the mechanic brains of the operation, he's moved about 900 kilometers that way. I don't know. He's moved to the west coast of our island province. Super opportunity for him. He's going to be opening his own shop. He's going to have, they have fantastic weather out there. Minus 30, 43 this morning here. Yeah, no, it wasn't that cold here. It's about minus, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 with the wind chill. Just enough to really cause you some discomfort. Shout out to Bryce for just joining us in the chat. Ooh, you have the double floppy. Yeah, wood and metal, sorry. I do have the double floppy in the Tandy. It's the very important setup. I mean, I would have preferred to have the hard drive, but hey, it's all you can do, right? So Sean's moved to the West Coast. So what does that mean for the channel? Not a whole lot. Might be a little slower in video content than previous. We're not super fast on video content anyway, because again, much like Shopcat says, I just got to get them lazy. It's got to get videos out. I love video editing, but at the same time, it's just so time consuming. It's so boring sometimes. Reliving the same event over and over again. You feel like Groundhog Day, especially if you have multiple shots of the same thing. If you're running multiple cameras like we often do, so it can get a little tedious. But yeah, we have some more content with left over from the summer that we're going to slowly drib and drab and put up. Sean's also doing some short videos out on the West Coast of some things that he's working on. He's got a skidoo that came with the house that he got just out back, so he's going to do some attempt to resurrect it stuff. I don't even know what it is. Panther, maybe? Or Pantera? I don't know. I'm not a skidoo guy. I think it's a Pantera? Anyway, you'll see it. Anyway. But yeah, we have a couple of other, big projects coming up. The Ford is still, it's actually sitting in my backyard right now. Just taking a winter's nap. The hope is to drive that to the West Coast sometime in the spring. Under its own power. And we're going to make a little video of that. That should be fun. Shopcat. Ooh, I like skidoo stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like skidoos in principle. Honestly, I've only ever ridden on one 3 or 4 times. It was fun. But on the east coast of Newfoundland, there's not really much reason to own one. We don't get a lot of snow here. I mean, we do occasionally, but it's sort of like a pig in a poke. You buy a brand new $20,000 sled, and you might not get to use it for 2 months, or 2 years, I should say, depending on the snow. So the west coast of the island gets a lot more snow than the east coast does. So, you know, they tend to be a bit more heavy on the skidoo use. But, you know, we have quads here, so we do a lot of quadding. What else is coming up? So yeah, the hope is to drive the Florida Cross sometime in the spring, make a little video of that, should be fun. It's about 800 to 900 kilometers from here to where Sean lives. Actually, I can tell you right now how long it takes. So just bear with me here. You're looking at 864 kilometers, 865 kilometers. About 8 hours, just under 9 hour drive from St. John's to the west coast where he lives. So yeah, what else do we have coming up? I didn't script this very well, and I apologize. This is sort of an off the cuff. I kind of want to do something. You know, I was bored. It's that, like I said, that weird time in between Christmas and New Year's where you don't really know what time of day it is. Projects, right. So we have the bus. Obviously, the Volkswagen bus is going to be a pretty big project. We got to graft the front on to just a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, 8.5, 9 hours is a bit of a jaunt, but it's not like unheard of. I would, you know, I've gone to the West Coast a few times. I drive almost every summer. Before COVID, we would drive to Nova Scotia and New Brunswick for a summer vacation. So, you know, it's not unheard of. I just lost my total train of thought. Choo choo, it's gone. I see. Family, they only message you when they want movies added to your Plex server. Guys. Anyway, yeah, so one of the big things I have to do this spring, again, or not spring, I should say, in a couple of months. We don't really get spring in Newfoundland. It's mostly like winter, and then fall, spring, and then winter again, and then winter 3.0, and then a kind of spring, and then one day it's June and it's 20 degrees. So, anyway, we're driving across the island sometime end of February, early March is the hope. We bought the big cube van. You've probably seen it in a couple of posts. You see our cold starts on it. So we're referring to him now as Captain Crunch because he's blue and fairly crusty. So that's actually mine. I bought it. It was one of those. You ever look to rent a U-Haul and realize how stupidly expensive it is, and you get a great idea like, hey, you know, instead of renting a U-Haul, why don't I just buy a cube van? I have no real need for one. You know, it is a pretty cheap wood storage shed for firewood and other stuff. So, you know, worst case, not terrible. That's what will make it. But, yeah, so I bought that off an auction house here in town. It runs and drives. I have to do all new brake lines, which I've got mostly done now. It needs rockers because they're rotting out. Captain Crunch, right? It needs a couple of ribs in the box fixed. So we're going to attempt that. And I need a brake job, so I have ordered all the parts for the brakes. So I'm probably going to do a couple of YouTube shorts on that. I'm not going to get too in depth into it. But yeah, the plan is to drive that from St. John's to where Sean is on the west coast. I don't really know what the name of the place is Sean is. It's Commodore Valley, we'll call it, because there's a bunch of communities down there. Anyway, so we're going to drive that from here to Commodore, probably not on its maiden voyage. I probably will try to at least get this thing on the road and insured and running and driving well for at least a month, and we'll drive it around as my daily, because, you know, why wouldn't you drive a cube van rear-wheel drive in the winter as your daily? Which makes perfect sense. Where's that proper 12? So I'm going to drive that across to the west coast. I'm going to pick up on my way across from another friend it's a 1983 or 82 Mercedes diesel, as well as a transmission. And the hope is to take that across with me. All right, see you later, Wood and Metal Garage. Have a fantastic evening, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and salut. Anyway, so we're going to drive from here to the West Coast with a Mercedes diesel engine in the back of the Cube van. I'm going to pick Sean up, hopefully, if he's still game and wants to do this. We're going to drive then from the Commodore to the Port of Basque Ferry, which is only about an hour. I don't think it's an hour. I think it's 20 minutes. Anyway, 40 minutes maybe. We're going to take the ferry across to Nova Scotia. We're going to drive from Nova Scotia. Lovely Commodore Valley. Yeah, Hubert, father-in-law's here. Hello, Hubert. We're going to drive from the Commodore Valley to... sorry, not Commodore Valley. We're going to drive from Nova Scotia to New Brunswick. We're going to meet up with Jason from the Old Car Guy Garage. Or Old Car Guy, I should say. And if you're not subscribed to them, please make sure you do. Jason's a great character, so we're going to meet up with him. We're going to provide him a Mercedes diesel swap for a project he's working on. And probably try to help him out with it as best as we're able. And do that for a day or two. Hang out there in New Brunswick for as long as we can. And then the hope is to drive back. I have my sister-in-law is moving back to Newfoundland. So the hope is to pick all her stuff up in Halifax and drive back to St. John's, taking the ferry. So that should be a fun adventure. We're hoping to video it the whole trip. You know, it's a... It's an interesting drive in a vehicle that you paid $200 for. I'm hoping there won't be too many issues. The 6.5 in the vehicle, or in the Cube van, only has 124,000 kilometers on it, I think. So just over 90,000 miles, I think that works out to, or 80,000 miles. So it's not really even broke in. I'm just worried about everything else that's attached to the truck. So anyway, only time will tell. What are we talking about? Right. And then we also have to finish before the end of the year, or not the end of the year, the end of next season, next summer. We have two diesel vehicles in my backyard, 2 TDI Volkswagens. We're going to strip them down, to pull the engines out, scrap the cars. They're of no use to us. We're going to take the 2 motors that are in them. We're going to disassemble them, make them one good motor. And then that's actually going to go in Ron Burgundy, the 81. Great drive, yeah, it is going to be a great drive, great adventure. Thank God I have CAA, is all I have to say. And that I've upgraded to the camper package, just so in case I need to get towed anywhere. So yeah, we're going to take the engines out of the Rabbit, or out of the 2 Volkswagen Golf and Jetta, make one good engine out of them, and that's going to go in Ron Burgundy, the 84 Rabbit that's in the backyard. Ron is going to hopefully become some sort of autocross drag unit, multi-purpose race car. And then that's actually going to go across to the West Coast. We'll probably, hopefully, the plan is to tow Ron and the engine and all the bits for the swap with the Ford in the spring to the Commodore Valley, where Sean is, to his new shop. And that'll be his sort of first big project for the shop, I think. I think that's the plan. Anyway, he can chime in if it's going to be something different. But the plan is to hopefully make Ron some sort of, like I said, hybrid track, autocross, drag type unit. Not sure how that's going to go, but again, big, powerful diesel in a very light, small Volkswagen Rabbit. Should be at least good for a laugh, if not something completely terrifying. Probably something completely terrifying. And then that's that. The only other project that's really on the go is the Ranger, which we haven't really done much on since we did the tune-up on it. The V6 in it, or the straight 6 in it. Piston Twisted Garage. He's in Milton, Nova Scotia, which is admittedly 2 hours from Halifax, but still a great guy, great channel. Listen, I'd love to meet up with as many East Coast and Newfoundland YouTubers as possible. Only because myself and Jason have some plans, hopefully, to start some sort of East Coast Drag Week type event to sort of include New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, and I guess Newfoundlanders will just have to travel to it because we don't have very many drag strips in the province, and the ones we have are nowhere near the same level of facility as although Eastbound is pretty good. Eastbound Raceway in Avondale here in Newfoundland is not bad. It's an eighth of a mile drag strip instead of a quarter mile. But yeah, it's a cool place, cool venue. Been to NASCAR a few times out there, a couple monster truck shows. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, the hope is to do some sort of drag week type thing, get that started. Where was I going with that? So yeah, the Ranger. Going back to the Ranger. So the Ranger, the plan for the Ranger was to actually take this Mercedes engine that I'm going to be using with Jason and put it in the Ranger. I've always wanted a manual 4-wheel drive diesel small pickup truck. Or at least I've wanted it since I realized that was a thing. So the hope was to do that and put it together this past year. But again, other projects got in the way, and we picked up Bullwinkle, I should say. So that sort of shifted. So yeah, the plan is still to eventually put a diesel in that Ranger, but the V6 in it runs really, or not the really 6, I think it's a straight 6. I'm pretty sure it's a straight 6. Anyway, either way, it runs really well. So we might just actually go with the gas engine in it and just run it. It's a nice little truck. It would make a fantastic little woods rig or an off-roader. Maybe put some big tires on it. Sean's been after me to put a lift in it, put some big tires on it, get some spacers, make it look a little bit more aggressive. And, I'm starting to lean towards that might actually be a pretty good idea and a fun little way to get in the woods and, pick up a bit of wood, cut a few trees down, have a bit of fun with the boys. So who knows? That might be the route that project goes. And other than that, that's all the projects. There's the Audi in the back 40. There's still an Audi down in my shed. It's a 1994 Audi 80 that I was imported from France. I bought it off the owner that imported it. I drove it for 2 or 3 years, 2 years I think. Nothing fancy about it. Front wheel drive Audi, not quattro or anything, but it is a diesel. And, it's a fun little rig. I thoroughly enjoy it, but there were some issues with the brakes and a couple of calipers need to be replaced, and they're not available this side of the pond, so I just kind of parked it. So that might make a return at some point, or I might just leave it down there and let it, age like a good wine and pick at it in a decade or two. Anyway, it looks like we're just about, can't even tell, just about an hour, thereabouts. Thank you for hanging out with me for an hour if you've been here. Like I said, this was just sort of a Merry Christmas, how are you doing? You probably look, for those who don't know, VOGN is our Volkswagen owners group here in Newfoundland. You can follow them on Facebook and on Instagram. We have Volkswagen events a couple of times during the year. We have impromptu meets Thursday nights. So feel free to, if you're in the area and you want to drop by for one of our meets, feel free to do so. I'm pretty much done, I guess. I don't think there's anything else I want to talk about. Is there anything I missed in the comments? Anybody? Is there anything we should have talked about we didn't? Well, I guess, yeah. So, yeah, Sean. I guess we'll say, Sean moved. There's no plan to stop making content. Like I said, he's going to be sending me videos. He finally got some internet out where he is, so we can start actually sending some video content. Well, thanks, Hubert. I appreciate that. He's going to send some video out my way. I think we're going to attempt to try to just ship it in on the bus coach that comes. Because the internet is not great out there. It's good, but it's not great. Not good enough, I think, to be uploading large video files to a file server somewhere, but maybe we can try. Anyway, he's going to shoot some content on his cell phone, send it my way, I'll edit it and post it. And then the plan is he's going to be traveling back and forth fairly regularly because he's still doing the APR tuning, so the Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Bentley tuning that happens. He's a local rep for it, so he's going to continue to do that. And I would imagine we'll still do some, garage stuff for fun. And yeah, so between myself and him, we should have some form of content coming. I've got a few more videos of the F1. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Apparently, Hubert is going to go have a Now I don't feel so weird for using an ancient lawnmower to cut my grass. Yeah, of course not. Old tech is better. There is, I think things were built better. I feel like I could bludgeon someone to death with that Atari. I don't think I could bludgeon someone to death with a modern Acer laptop. I think that's built better. As a bludgeoning device, it's perfect. To watch YouTube, it's terrible. In fact, it won't do it. Anyway, so yeah, there should still be more content coming. I got a bunch of stuff for the Ford that needs to come out. We got a few other little projects we did. The LS2 build, sorry, for the El Camino, that's still happening. So the engine and transmission are now in the frame. The body and the panels have been sent to, I believe, the body shop to be done, and hopefully spring it'll be put it all together. And I'm pretty sure Sean said he's hoping to have it running and driving sometime for the summer. So that's going to be a cool project, and the hope is again that that's going to be some fun for the owner. That's going to be some sort of fun little racy daily driver type thing. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I missed. Talk about the F100. So the F100 is pretty much done. I don't think there's anything else Sean wants to do with it. It's not a show truck. It's a survivor. And for those of you who know Newfoundland, know that nothing over 10 years old survives here. So to find a truck that's nearly 50 years old, still alive and running in a field, is mind-boggling. You don't find those. So that was cool. So that's why we kind of had to save it, I guess. I'm sure down in Tennessee and in Texas and places like that, nobody would even look at that F100. But it's something special, the fact that it was an original Newfoundland truck sold here, it lived its life here, it did 16,000 miles here, and then it was parked. Cheers to all, gotta go drive my city bus. No, enjoy. Hopefully you enjoy driving some buses. Anyway, guys, we're going to shut this down now, I guess, and as always, have a fantastic New Year's, and write down in the comment section what you got for Christmas, and if you want a sticker, let me know. And keep safe, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers.